So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Arke's Masterclass, How to Use TikTok to Supercharge Your Virtual Open Days. The session will last about 30 to 35 minutes, and there'll be 10 minutes for a Q&A at the end. So use the chat function throughout if you have any questions or queries, and our speakers will answer them at the end. So we'll kick things off by introducing you to your hosts for today's Masterclass. My name's Georgie, and I'm the Education Account Manager here at Arke. I'm going to be joined by two of our creative and digital experts, Brendan O'Connor, who's our Senior Paid Media Analyst, and Scott Black, who is our Creative Manager here at Arke. As you'll see from our backgrounds, we are back in the office for 2 days a week, and of course ensuring that we are socially distancing and of course lots and lots of anti-bac and dry hands. So at Arke, we turn data into strategy and stories into campaigns. Creative and digital experts, we integrate the off and online world to produce impactful customer experiences. In 2019, we provided research, analytics, data science, creative and media services to over a quarter of the UK education sector. So the aim of this session is to help you to understand TikTok, both the platform and the opportunity that it provides, the various advertising formats available, and how to create content that aligns with your brand values and engages your audience. TikTok is a massive opportunity for you to reach and engage your audience, and our masterclass will give you the knowledge and tools to confidently do this. So in terms of key takeaways from this masterclass, firstly, your virtual open day prospects are already active on TikTok. More than 75% of TikTok's community is your target audience, and they spend more than an hour a day on the app. I definitely spend a lot more than that on the app. It's my personal favorite. Second, TikTok presents a brilliant opportunity to build brand awareness for your virtual open day at lower costs. Average cost per clicks on TikTok are 87% cheaper than its closest rival, Instagram, and is an untapped advertising platform for educational institutions. The organic engagement opportunities are endless. Create content that is native to TikTok, that supports your virtual open day campaigns, and that showcases your brand's personality by encouraging user-generated content. Relax and be bold. So we're going to start by looking at the user behavior, engagement, and content consumption. TikTok is the fastest growing app of 2020, having recently surpassed 2 billion downloads. 315 million of these downloads took place within Q1 of this year. We were all in lockdown, didn't know what was going on, which represents the highest number of downloads in a quarter of any app ever. And the UK experienced 1 million downloads in July to 2020 alone. And in terms of engagement rates within this app are on average 170% higher than Instagram. 91% of users return to the app every day, and 55% of the users are regular content producers. There are currently 8.1 million users in the UK, which is a 67% growth versus 2019, and is forecast to surpass 10 million by 2021. Of that number, 3.7 million are monthly active users who consume 288 years worth of content every single day, which is crazy. Although TikTok has a lower penetration than more established competitors, it is relatively new to the scene. It's one of the few social media apps whose penetration is growing. For you, arguably the most important stats lie in TikTok's demographic. Of the 8.1 million users in the UK, 76% are under 24 years old, 49.5% are aged under 18, and 26% are aged between 18 and 24. Use amongst that under 18 age group surged by 500% over the course of 2019. And they are an incredibly engaged audience. Under 24s spend an average of an hour and 14 minutes using the app every single day. And additionally, females are represented on the app 20% more than males. So with regards to content consumption, dance challenges, again, my favorite, are the most viral type of content, with the hashtag raindrop challenge engaged with an incredible 1.1 billion times. Interestingly for you and your institutions, learning and education content receives 2.3 billion views a month. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are on TikTok, but when results day, which was, incredibly fun for us all, came round, there was an incredible amount of content out there. So if you do want to have a look at that, I recommend it thoroughly. Influencers on TikTok are becoming more and more prominent and offer an intriguing entrance into the influencer marketing landscape. Holly H is the UK's biggest influencer with 16.7 million followers. Whilst the biggest TikTok influencers in the UK get more engagement than on Instagram, and influencer-sponsored marketing on TikTok is 1,000% less than on Instagram. So what does this all mean for you? Your target audience is incredibly engaged on this app. They're spending more than an hour a day on TikTok and returning vast quantities day after day. Usage amongst the key target audience is growing every year and shows no sign of slowing down whatsoever. In terms of content, it's vital that you mirror what your audience is consuming. So how can you include challenges and weave fun videos into your content strategy? Well, now we've learned how users are behaving on the platform, let's understand why. So over to you, Scott.
Thanks, Georgie. So as the slide suggests, this section we're going to be looking at the content and creative of TikTok. So unlike other social platforms, TikTok looks to curate a rough and ready approach. Gone are the days of spending hours getting the perfect picture of your avocado on toast. TikTok wants content and it wants it now. This laissez-faire approach has taken the onus off the user and encourages audience participation. TikTok is all about experimentation. It wants you to try, to play, and to interact. At its fundamental core, TikTok is a tool for creativity. This is a driving force throughout the app that ensures we never run dry of fun and engaging content to keep us busy. Community is paramount on TikTok. There really is an audience for everyone. So audience observation is key. Look at the content your community posts. Recurring themes, trending challenges, even the style of humor can all give inspiration and guidance about how best to communicate with your audience on TikTok. Once you have an understanding of the content your community consumes, it's time to start creating and keep creating. As we mentioned earlier, TikTok is a rough and ready platform that rewards content production, and to make the most of this, it's important to adopt an always-on approach. And this doesn't just apply to content production, but always on in a sense of getting involved with your community, starting conversations and interacting with your audience. It's also important to consider the human element of TikTok. While curating your brand personality, it's become common practice to have a brand ambassador. We actually have Arke's TikTok brand ambassador on the call today in one Georgie Douglas.
Thank you, Scott. I won that ambassadorship from a dance-off within the office, so socially distanced there. One for you guys.
So why is having a brand ambassador important? It allows you to have a familiar face that features or leads throughout your TikTok content. And this in turn allows your audience to humanize and associate your brand's personality with an individual. This association helps you build brand trust through that we can forge intimate connections that lead to long-lasting and profitable relationships with our audience. So we've got a few examples here. The Washington Post and NBC. So the Washington Post is one of the oldest newspapers in the world at 142 years old, with an average reader age of 40. So as you can imagine, that's not exactly TikTok's demographic. And they launched their official TikTok account in May 2019, thanks to a man called Dave Jorgensen. So Dave Jorgensen is the face and ambassador for the Washington Post TikTok account. He pitched the idea of the platform being a great way to get younger people to trust the brand or to know the brand, showing them day-to-day life in the office with behind the scenes, and as well taken reference from the comedy show The Office. So we've got a collection of content here from Washington Post TikTok account, and we're just going to play that for you now.
Run. Gotta go fast. Hey yo, newsroom.
So that was a collection of content from the Washington Post. So what works in that? It's clearly fun, engaging content that makes fun of the office culture as well as pop culture. So you can see that they're clearly attempting to engage a new, younger audience, getting them news and information through, as I said, a factual yet playful manner, referencing modern day pop culture, being self-aware and admittedly slightly cringy. And it works. The Washington Post has garnered 612,000 followers and 25.1 million likes since its account launched in 2019. So let's compare that to NBC News, one of America and the world's largest network broadcasters. So as I said, this is they've got an average viewer age of 37, so a similar kind of age to the Washington Post. And they launched their official TikTok account in February 2019, so again around the same time as Washington Post. So let's take a look at some of their content. So I don't know about you, but I know which one I prefer. And as you can see from these figures, there's a striking contrast between having an ambassador and not having an ambassador. Georgie, Brendan, what did you guys think?
So I really, really enjoyed the Washington Post, and I think this is a prime example of a prestigious brand adapting to this type of platform. I know with universities and colleges, using a new platform is quite daunting, but it is a great opportunity to take your brand to the next level and help, stakeholders understand how this will propel your institution forward. Because if you aren't adapting and becoming more brave with what you're putting out there, then these young content creators will spout that a mile off, and they'll be less inclined to attend your college or university. And with millions of them on there, there's enough for everyone. And if you can get it right, then you're really in. But what do you think, Brendan?
I think that NBC News maybe missed the mark a bit. So the content didn't seem very well within the platform and also gained that much engagement. I think the Washington Post was a lot stronger.
Thanks. So what does this mean for you guys in the audience? Obviously, as we all know, education is a competitive environment and standing out has never been more paramount. With advertising campaigns typically running for 18 months, we have valuable time to build an emotional connection with our audience. So let's utilize this. Organic TikTok content can be a safe space in which you can explore your brand's personality and forge genuine connections. Our content recommendations for TikTok: be real, be you, show the personality of your institution, but make sure you agree on what this is before you start. Curated content can be spotted a mile off and be scrolled past. Rough, ready, unrefined content works best. So now we learned why users are so heavily engaged with this platform, let's understand the advertising opportunities that exist within it. Over to you, Brendan.
Thanks, Scott. So as we mentioned before, advertising on TikTok is a huge opportunity for education institutions. And at the moment, I'd say it is relatively untouched. So what we do, we thought we'd take you through 4 of the most common ad formats available on TikTok and explain each of them and basically how they work. So first of all, you've got the hashtag challenge advertising. So this is where a brand creates a custom challenge under a hashtag. So these challenges usually have a unique sound, which users can overlay on their own videos and obviously create their own content with. So brands can pay to sponsor these hashtags on TikTok, which will then display them on the discovery page, obviously to gain more exposure. So a great example of a brand which has used this is the fashion site Zalora. So they launched their Z Style Now TikTok campaign in September, which they asked users to show as many different styles as possible in a minute while displaying their Z symbol on the TikTok. So this campaign actually generated and performed extremely well, generating 1 million views, 62,000 responses, and just over 1,000 downloads of that app. So a really successful campaign. Cool. Next slide.
Brendan, have you got any suggestions about how education institutions can make use of this?
Yeah, so maybe a good use of this, I was thinking about this the other day actually. So use of a hashtag challenge during Freshers Week would be really effective as a brand awareness piece. So maybe if a university created a challenge that freshers could basically take part of during their Freshers Week, this obviously would get a mass appeal, lots of people kind of taking part, and would generate really good exposure for a university. I wouldn't say it's too relevant for a virtual open day, but as a brand awareness piece, this could work really, really well. So number 2, we've got in-feed advertising. So this is the most disruptive form of advertising on the app. Basically, the content, the ad will appear within organic content on the For You page within TikTok. And these are full screen ads, and basically, as I said, appear while you're swiping through TikTok content. So a good example of a company which has used this and use it quite a lot is Nike. So they use this to promote quite a few of their upcoming products and their new launches. In this case, they partnered with the footballer Kevin De Bruyne and basically created this TikTok that we'll show you now.
Sometimes you just have to assist yourself.
So as you can see, a really nice organic piece of content. So I think this looks really good and sits well within TikTok. So it's not too polished, and I think it looks really great. So this campaign generated 315 million views with 46 million interactions, and also worked to generate Nike 215,000 new followers in 6 days. So this is a really, really popular campaign and performed extremely well. We'd actually recommend using in-feed advertising for a virtual open day campaign. So we'll talk about this a bit later, but in terms of kind of like the different ad formats, I'd probably say in-feed is the way to go. Cool. Next, we've got top view advertising, also known as brand takeovers within the app. So the way that these work is every time someone opens the app for a set duration of time, so it can be 24 hours, sometimes it's a bit longer, this ad will show. So a good example of this and a campaign which performed really well was eBay. So they used this to promote their Stronger as One campaign during the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was basically to promote people to support small businesses and purchase products through eBay, which are from small businesses. So this campaign also performed very, very well. So it generated 18 million impressions, but most impressively generated a click-through rate of 17.82%. So for a campaign of this type and also a format of this type, that's really strong engagement. So that's a really strong performing campaign they had there. This would be great for an education institution, and maybe not so much for a virtual open day, but as a brand awareness piece, it could perform really, really well, and I'd probably recommend this. It is more on the pricey side, so placements of this type cost around £70,000. But for a brand awareness piece, this could work brilliantly. The World Health Organization actually used this format at the start of the COVID-19 outbreak to reach a younger audience and basically provide them with up-to-date information about the coronavirus. So yeah, good to see that they're using that and trying to reach a younger audience there as well. And the final ad format we'll look at here are the branded lenses. So these are augmented reality, basically lenses which sit within TikTok, and users can basically use them as they wish and create content using them. So they're quite similar to the way that Snapchat works, and also the way that Instagram works with their lenses and their kind of different effects you can apply to your own content. But these work really well in a sponsored capacity, So a good example of a campaign that performed really well was Coca-Cola in Vietnam. They launched a campaign using this, and basically once you drank the Coca-Cola bottle, your kind of like battery within TikTok would fill up, and when you didn't drink it would obviously depreciate. So as you can kind of see in the picture here. So this campaign performed really well and generated 31 million views in the first week. So yeah, Coca-Cola, they're using this kind of format. Cool, so to summarize in this, this little section here, we've taken you through the 4 of the most common ad formats available, and these will serve you best if you're beginning to advertise on TikTok. Some require higher budgets than other, so do get in touch to discuss your options, and some are more suitable for virtual open days than others. Like I said, the in-feed format, I'd say, is probably the most effective and basically the way to kind of reach the most people for the best cost. So I'd probably recommend going with this if you're looking to promote a virtual open day. Each can also be used alongside organic content. So if you're running an in-feed campaign, obviously you can run that alongside your organic content, so they all do work quite well together. And yeah, so how can you supercharge, use this knowledge to supercharge your virtual open day? Scott, over to you.
Thanks, Brendan. So yeah, in this section, we're going to offer some recommendations about how you guys can use TikTok to supercharge your virtual open days. So TikTok presents an opportunity to get really creative. We're living in strange times at the moment, so why not experiment? So some of our content recommendations include videos showing you preparing for open days, the setup of the virtual open day itself, and behind the scenes of perhaps research labs or faculties, life in halls and accommodation, what can students expect to see when they arrive? Short bursts of campus to give them sneak peeks, offer an insight into life on campus. So give them a little campus tour preview, offer them sneak peeks of the virtual open day to whet their appetite and get them excited. Play on the idea of a virtual open day and make use of reminders and call to actions as the event approaches. I mean, how amazing would it be if you could create a dance or a hashtag challenge and encourage attendees to submit video? The world really is your oyster. Now we have a couple of examples of organic virtual open day content that's been uploaded to TikTok. I know there's a few people from the University of Kent, so shout out to you guys for producing content that ticks a lot of the best practice boxes. We're going to hit play on both of these so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Hi, I'm Annabelle, a current student here at Kent. This Saturday is our virtual open day, where you'll have a chance to find out more about our courses, chat to our current students and lecturers in a live Q&A, and take a virtual tour of our campuses. Visit the link below to sign up.
Welcome to the Maynooth University Virtual Summer Open Day. Today, our student ambassadors are taking over our social channels, so make sure that you're following us on Snapchat at Maynooth CAO and on Instagram at Maynooth Uni. Ask any questions that you want, we'll give.
So the second video here is from Maynooth University in Ireland. As you can see, it looks a bit like it's been repurposed from another channel, and it doesn't quite fit with the rest of the content that's on TikTok. So we can see, you know, Instagram takeover sprawl across the screen. The Snapchat logo popped up briefly. So there's a lot of discontinuity within the platform that it's aligned to. Whereas the University of Kent video feels a lot more at home on TikTok. So we've got a person facing in front of the camera, short amounts of text, stickers, and it's kind of rough and ready to fit in with the in-feed of TikTok. So, Brendan, how can educational institutions target and advertise on TikTok to drive registration and attending numbers?
Thanks, Scott. Yes, so there's a number of different ways that we can target people on TikTok. So we can target based on age, location. So these are kind of like the most basic way of targeting. So you could target someone based in this location if you're using a radius and looking to kind of like drive signups that way. Or you can target based on interests and behaviors. So with an education focus. So for example, you could target people that have shown an interest in university style content, or you could target people that have shown an interest in a certain subject. Or you can look at their behaviors as well. So you can target people based on this. So for example, you could look, if you target people based, if they've shown an interest in education content, this will be people looking at uni videos, uni life videos, and all these kind of things. Obviously TikTok groups these people into one of these audiences, and then you can target them based on that. You can get even more focused and target through audiences, which is where things get really exciting. So basically, if you've got a data set, say for example, maybe past applicants or people that have previously been to one of your open days, you can use this data to basically create lookalike audiences, and then target people based on this. Yeah, you can also target people using the TikTok pixel. So say, for example, if someone has signed up previously for your virtual open day and you have the TikTok pixel installed, you can then remarket to those people on TikTok and serve their ads. Or if you just wanted to serve ads to people that have previously visited your website, you can do this also. So for virtual open day, we recommend using a combination of both interest-based and lookalike targeting to reach as many prospects as possible. From running a couple of campaigns, we've seen that the lookalike audiences actually generate much stronger engagement than the interest-based targeting. So from our own campaigns, we're seeing around a 55% stronger engagement from those which are using lookalike audiences compared to interest-based. And in terms of ad format in feed, it's going to work best, as we mentioned previously. And this is, we've previously run campaigns kind of with this objective, and they've performed extremely well. And so this is what we recommend. So what can you expect from a virtual open day advertising campaign on TikTok? So what we've done here is we pulled together some stats from the campaigns that we've run, basically benchmarked them against the different platforms we've got here. So we've got Instagram, Facebook, Google Display, and YouTube. What you can see here is in almost every single platform and every single metric, TikTok is cheaper. So we're actually at the moment seeing average CPCs on some of the campaigns that we're running of around 24 pence and engagement of around 0.65, which is extremely strong, and average CPCs are extremely low. We're also seeing the amount of time that people spend on TikTok is a lot stronger and a lot longer than lots of the other platforms, which is obviously great if you're targeting people. They're spending more time within the app, which gives you more of a chance to target them with ads. So when we were benchmarking the CPMs against some of the platforms, TikTok was slightly more expensive. But if we're comparing it against Instagram, which is the most close competitor, it was around 15% cheaper. So this really is an incredible opportunity to invest in advertising on TikTok and target your audience. So what are you guys waiting for? So the 3 key takeaways we've got here is get creative, be unique, and show your personality. Rough and ready will always win on TikTok, and this is your opportunity to experiment and show why your education institute is the best. From a paid perspective, you can get really targeted with your advertising. So obviously you can use a combination of lookalike and demographic and interest targeting. It's really important to test these just to see kind of which one performs best. Make sure you're using data if you have it. So if you have previous applicant data, previous open day signups, great, and then we can use that to create lookalike audiences, which will just strengthen your campaign. So this opportunity is really unparalleled. If you do invest in advertising on TikTok, you'll be taking advantage of some of the lowest average CPCs and highest engagement we're seeing at the moment across all the platforms.
So we have been running quite a few TikTok campaigns, and I know this is, as I mentioned before, it's rather daunting when you're going for for a new platform, especially for the education sector. So to ease you into it without, breaking the bank, because I know that I understand marketing budgets need to be carefully placed, but we're really excited to introduce you to an offer that we're running for all attendees of this masterclass as a thank you for attending. So we're offering a TikTok advertising campaign for £1,995, and this includes £1,500 towards media spend, and then £495 towards campaign planning, existing student data profiling, lookalike audience building, reporting, and optimization. The content production will be making your existing content TikTok ready, and that will be free of charge as well. The one thing is all campaigns do need to be booked in before the 28th of September 2020 and are on a first come first served basis up until the agency is at capacity. So keep an eye on your email inbox for more information. So finally, to summarize what we've covered in this masterclass, your prospective students are present on this app. More than 75% of TikTok's community is your target audience, and they spend an incredible amount of time consuming and posting content. This is an invaluable opportunity to engage with your prospects in these unprecedented times. It's an amazing opportunity to build awareness and attendees for your virtual open day at lower costs. Remember, average cost per clicks is substantially cheaper than its closest rivals, Instagram. We expect this to rise as more advertisers migrate to the platform, so get in whilst you can. Why not experiment? Organic engagement opportunities are unparalleled, and create content that is native to TikTok, showcases your brand's personality, and more importantly, makes you stand out. So last but not least, a huge thank you for attending our TikTok Masterclass. We hope you found it insightful and useful. And don't forget our TikTok advertising offer. And if you want to find out more, please do drop us an email at hello@arkeagency.com, or my email is Georgie, very simple, @arkeagency.com, or call us on 01273 041 111. But before we wrap up, I know I've seen a couple of questions coming in, so shall we go through those whilst we are all here? Fantastic. So first one, university. So we've had one saying, at the university with the current restrictions and not being on campus, how can we create good quality video content? Because not many people are on campus at the moment, so it doesn't look appealing. Scott, I feel like that's definitely a question for you.
I'd say there's a few ways around this. Obviously, COVID-19 has created restrictions in regards to content creation that we perhaps never foresee being a problem before. With that, there are certain workarounds. I would recommend, if you've got a bank of content, repurposing content, also using non-video format content. So looking at things like animation, how can you utilize that and leverage it to help promote your virtual open day? Also, there is the option to, if things are empty and there's not a lot of stuff going on campus, you can, in fact, even use that to your advantage and make fun of it on TikTok. TikTok's a platform for humor, and I'm sure there would be people who would enjoy that kind of content on the platform. So hopefully that gives you a few ideas about how you could overcome those restrictions in regards to not being on campus.
Thank you, Scott. We have another one as well. This looks like a Brendan one. So, what impact do you think Instagram Reels will have on TikTok?
Oh, good question. So we are looking at Instagram Reels at the moment, and it is on our radar. We're seeing it as almost, it is a direct competitor of TikTok. There's no doubt about that at all. At the moment, it still is to be seen as whether Instagram Reels will gain the traction that TikTok's got at the moment. If that does happen, then we'll definitely be looking at utilizing Instagram Reels as well as TikTok. At the moment, you can't buy advertising inventory on Instagram Reels, which means that you can't run any paid campaigns on it at the moment. But as soon as they do start to introduce more advertising products that are available for Instagram Reels, and once we see if it's gaining the traction that we'd expect it to, then it's definitely something to kind of add to your strategy as well as TikTok. Yep.
Thank you, Brendan. We have another one. So do you have testimonials from small universities or colleges where TikTok has worked well? Yes, we do. I'll send them over to you after the webinar. How would you explain to stakeholders that this will help with conversion? Or would you say TikTok is more for brand awareness?
I'll take this one.
Brendan?
Yeah. So we when we first started looking at advertising on TikTok, it definitely was seen and promoted as a brand awareness kind of like platform. But the introduction of lots of kind of like conversion tracking capabilities and event tracking mean that we can actually now use this more as a conversion platform. So remarketing especially works extremely well on TikTok to push people back to your website to create applications or to create to kind of like complete a conversion event. So it can be used for both. but the kind of like the mass reach you can achieve on TikTok does kind of lend itself more to brand awareness, but there are definitely opportunities to run conversion campaigns as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brendan. Another one, how do we choose our brand ambassador for TikTok? Well, as I said earlier, I had a socially distanced dance off in the office, so maybe that's one for the marketing teams, but no. Scott, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to brand ambassador, I know it can seem a little bit daunting, especially if TikTok isn't a platform that you've been involved in before. But what I should say is, much like Georgie, you want to look for someone who has an enthusiasm surrounding the platform. Doesn't really matter whether you're a pro or not, just having that kind of eagerness to be involved. And as well, it may sound like it's a demanding job, but as we saw, especially with the Washington Post, just because you're a brand ambassador doesn't mean you need to feature in every piece of content that goes out for the rest of time under your institution. It's just more about giving that spine, that narrative. So when your audience is viewing your content, they see those familiar faces, they're able to associate the brand, and just giving that kind of clear view of it.
I think as well, to add on to that, it's really super important to know your students. I think that universities, every university is individual. They have their own in-jokes, they have their own, it's a different sort of life for each university. So getting to know your students and putting content out there as the brand ambassador that they will engage with, and then your new prospective students will then look at that and be like, yes, I relate to that. That's the university I would like to go to because I find this funny or I find this relatable. And that's the part that is the university life that I want to be a part of. So I think that's super important as well. Fantastic. Let me have a look at more questions. So is there a reason why you didn't show any examples of TikTok ads from the education sector? Brendan?
Yeah, there isn't many. So that's when we say that the fact that it really is an untapped kind of channel at the moment, and we're not lying, there really isn't many institutions doing TikTok campaigns well. So that's why we didn't have any examples. So this is why we're saying it's a really, really good opportunity to get involved with TikTok right now. Yeah,
and as I mentioned earlier, there is obviously content that prospective students are making. There was a lot around results day, looking at the way that they utilize the platform and their humor and what worked for them. So I think that's to do your research as maybe the brand ambassador or the marketing team. Look at TikTok, look at what the students are putting out there, look what's relatable, and work from there. Really, do your research. Okay. Cool. This is a similar one to what we've already had. So is TikTok more of a brand awareness platform as opposed to a direct response platform? So I think that Brendan, you sort of covered that earlier, didn't you? But yes. If anyone has any other questions, please let us know.
I've just seen one pop up in the Q&A. So with regards to advertising, are you able to target via locations and other demographics, or is it just categories that they've previously interacted with? That sounds like a Brendan question, so I'm gonna...
Yeah, so you can absolutely target both. So obviously you can pick a location, and this can be done on radius, postcode, this sort of thing. And you can also choose to target other demographics as well as this. So there's quite a few different options there, but yes, location can be a basis, and then you can choose other demographics and lookalike audiences and interests on top of that.
Thank you. And I think I've seen a few people asking if we're going to be sending around the slides afterwards. We will be putting a recording of this onto our YouTube channel. So if you want to share it, I've seen a few people asking about sharing with their colleagues. So you'll be able to share that around. And if anyone specifically wants the slides, I'm sure we'll be able to email them to you as well.
Fantastic. And I've just seen another one. So please could I ask, are all the 4 types of advertising paid, or are any available for free? Brendan.
Yeah, I'll say this. Yeah, so they're all paid methods. If you were looking for any kind of free organic kind of like formats, the only one available would be to post, and then obviously that will show up in the For You feed, or if someone kind of searches for your username, they'll be able to view that. But yeah, all four of those are their paid formats.
Fantastic, thank you. But remember, yeah, organic is free, isn't it? So if you want to start putting stuff up there, you can utilize that. So that leads me nicely onto, like Facebook and Instagram, does TikTok have a business account option?
Yes, so TikTok have just rolled something out for businesses. So it's a business profile, and they also give you some tools to help you create your own organic content. And so if that's something you're interested in, you can just find that online. So but that's for organic. And then obviously if you were looking to advertise, then there's a similar, it works similar to Facebook. So there's a version of Facebook Business Manager, but for TikTok, and you can create an account there as well.
Fantastic, thank you, Brendan. And yes, as well, we do have case studies of TikTok, so we will share them with those who would like them as well. Do we have any more questions at all? Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining. Please remember the TikTok offer, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you all.
Thank you.